Hello, I'm Laura Marshall.
And I'm Melinda Rose, and this is Light Matters for April 18th, 2012.
On this week's show, we take one step closer to a quantum internet, Hyperspectral Imaging sheds light on wound healing, an iPad explores optics underwater, imaging the Titanic improves, and we bring you some notable business news.
The first prototype of a quantum communications network is based on interfaces between single atoms and photons. For a quantum network to be useful, the exchange of information must be reversible. This is difficult because quantum information is very fragile, and the no-cloning theorem prevents the copying of an arbitrary known quantum state. A breakthrough in solving this problem was achieved at the Max Planck Institute of Quantum Optics in Germany. Their network consists of two coupled single-atom nodes that transfer information through exchanging photons. The atoms are embedded in optical cavities composed of highly reflecting mirrors. When the atom emits photons, they can be directed and controlled in very specific ways. Information can be transmitted bit by bit from one atom to the other by mapping its quantum state onto individual photons. The photons travel through a fiber optic cable and are absorbed by the second atom. That atom can then send information back to the first or act as a hub to any number of networked atoms. The two nodes are in different labs and separated by a distance of 21 meters via a 60-meter optical fiber. The researchers were also able to entangle the atoms, which allowed them to share information with each other no matter how far the distance between them. The work is featured in Nature.
Hyperspectral imaging devices calibrated to new standard reference spectra could be used as non-invasive diagnostic tools and provide new insight into the physiology of tissue injury and healing. Many physicians would prefer the completely non-invasive hyperspectral methods available to measure the amount of oxygen in tissue, a key factor in wound healing, but these methods aren't being routinely used in clinics due to a lack of standards. To combat this, engineers at the National Institute of Standards and Technology produced the first prototype digital tissue phantoms derived from benchtop simulations and in vivo wound imaging. They found that they can reproduce the tissue spectrum, including the oxygenation level of hemoglobin, to within one standard deviation, well within the natural variability of the tissue. Currently, accumulating the data is a time-consuming process. Each scan takes from tens of seconds up to a minute or more. In the future, they hope to have snapshot hyperspectral scans for real-time imaging, including video. They are also investigating hyperspectral imaging's potential for environmental and defense applications.
A new device that securely holds a high-speed camera and an iPad can obtain field measurements of optical turbulence structures and quantify their impact on underwater imaging and beam propagation. The structure, dubbed Image Measurement Assembly for Subsurface Turbulence, or iMAST, was designed at the Naval Research Laboratory's Stennis Space Center. The device may be able to explain just how far and well a diver and a vision system can see, especially under impacts from turbulence. The device was tested by the NRL and Florida Atlantic University's Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute as part of the Bahamas Optical Turbulence Experiment. Because of its size, weight, self-contained bright screen, and low power consumption, an iPad mounted on the iMAST was used to display active targets such as resolution charts and image patterns. The researchers used the setup to calculate several limiting factors for underwater imaging components. They collected data critical in understanding the impacts of optical turbulence on active electro-optical sensing from 4 stations for NRL, which cover various types of optical and physical conditions. The data confirmed their hypothesis that turbulence does play into optical visibility performance prediction and, at times, can greatly reduce the visibility range. But more research is needed to better quantify and mitigate such effects, especially for the Navy's next-generation electro-optical systems, including active imaging, LiDAR, and optical communications.
And speaking of underwater imaging, unless you've been living at the bottom of the ocean, you probably know it's the 100th anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic this week, so that story's pretty much been everywhere.
Yeah, the SPIE website has an article this week on how, since 1985, researchers have been improving deep-sea camera systems and sensors, with those improvements being most notable in the quality of the images of the Titanic available over the past 3 decades. The images you are seeing now are featured in the April 2012 issue of National Geographic magazine, and we thank them very much for giving us permission to use them.
In business news, IDEX announced it has acquired optical components maker Precision Photonics Corporation for $20 million in cash. Boulder-based PPC will operate in IDEX's optics and photonics platform within the Health and Science Technologies segment, joining CVI Mel's Griot, Semrock, and AT Films.
Edmund Optics has launched the Norman Edmund Inspiration Award in honor of its late founder. The new award, which consists of an additional $5,000 in product donations, will be presented to one of the 3 2012 first prize recipients of the company's higher education grant program currently running in the Americas, Asia, and Europe. It will be given to the college or university optics program in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics that best embodies the legacy of Norman Edmund, the creator and entrepreneurial spirit behind Edmund Scientific, which later evolved into Edmund Optics. The winner will be announced on October 10th.
OSA has also established a new award, this one honoring a visionary in the field of biophotonics, Michael Feld, who died in 2010. The award will recognize individuals for innovative and influential contributions to the field and encompasses all areas of biophotonics, from fundamental optics discoveries in biology to the development of new theoretical frameworks and novel instrumentation to clinical research. The OSA Foundation has begun fundraising efforts to endow the award permanently, and the first award will be presented in 2013.
That's it for this edition of Light Matters, the industry's only weekly newscast. We'd like to hear from you. Tell us what you like or don't like about our program. We welcome your comments and suggestions at lightmatters@photonics.com.
And you'll find links to share and subscribe to Light Matters by clicking the Share with Friends button on our video player.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week with a special edition of Light Matters from SPIE Defense Security and Sensing in Baltimore.
I actually use terahertz lasers. We use it for spectroscopy as well as we do some biology. I have a biology background, so we look at the bio effect of terahertz on tissues and cells.
Photonics is very important because we use several laser sources in order to generate the terahertz radiation. We actually use a MiTi to generate the terahertz, and we're using nonlinear optical sources for the generation.